Earlier today, House Speaker Mike Johnson gave context to the growing concern of judicial overreach.
Last 100 years, listen to this, 67% of the injunctions issued against a president were issued against one president alone, and that's Donald J. Trump. So that something that unusual is happening, something that is out of the norm. It is a dangerous trend, and it violates equal justice under law, that critical principle. It violates our system itself.
All right, so what's happening? And we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but it's quite significant. So you have those that are going after executive actions by the Trump administration that are doing what's called venue shopping. They're looking for a favorable judge in some part of the country to take their case to try to stop the executive order. We just saw another one come out on the transgender in the military. But what generally happens is that a judge will issue an injunction for the parties that are standing before them. So if it's your case, they issue an injunction so that this executive order does not affect you or affect those that live within the region or the jurisdiction of that court. But what we're seeing now, we're seeing these nationwide injunctions, so that a federal judge in a particular district is making a decision for the entire country, basically serving as their own president, taking actions that affect national security, our defense, even foreign policy. Joining me now to talk more about this is our Friday host and former Congressman Jody Hice. Jody, welcome to Washington Watch. Thanks for joining us.
Great to be with you, Tony, as always.
It is, and many of your colleagues, both on the House and the Senate side, are introducing bills that would address this issue. But this seems like a moment in time where we may actually see something get done on this. This is not a new issue, but it seems to have reached a critical point.
Well, and that is the point. We have watched what many have referred to as judicial activism literally for decades take place, but it is ratcheted up several notches at this point to where it is interfering with an administration, with a mandate given by the American people, and it's all seemingly for no other reason other than political interference, trying to stop the agenda of this current administration. And so, what do you want to call this? Judicial terrorism? This is absolute interference from the judicial branch, at least as so far as I'm concerned, into the agenda mandate of this administration.
And this is something, as I made reference to, that has been growing over time, where it's obviously they're triggered by this president and wanting to stop his agenda. But the courts have been playing this for quite some time, taking on the role that is not theirs.
That's exactly right. And I think we're at the point, and I'm personally glad to hear at least some discussion about potentially impeaching some of these judges. This will continue until someone puts a stop to it. And at some point, judges need to understand that they are not elected individuals. They are not there to be legislators. They are there to abide by the law and to uphold the Constitution and the rule of law. But they are not in a position to put forth legislation from the bench and from their positions. And until someone is reprimanded for getting out of line in that position, I'm afraid this type of thing happens. So obviously, when you're dealing with impeachment, that is a huge, huge thing, nothing to be taken lightly. But where there are judges that are outrightly going outside their judicial jurisdiction and legislating from the bench, they need to be corrected, and perhaps impeachment has finally seen a time to move forward.
Now, this cuts both ways. Because there was some of this during the Biden administration where people went to favorable jurisdictions to try to get injunctions. Now, oftentimes those conservative justices, they confined their decisions to their own jurisdiction. They did not do the overreach, although I think there may have been one or two. Do you think Democrats will support this? Are they so fixated on stopping Donald Trump that they don't want to see a remedy to a problem that sometimes cuts both ways?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we'll see from the Democrats. They have one, seemingly it looks like, they have one platform, bullet point, and that is hate Trump, stop Trump. That's all they're for. So I would not see them at this point in any shape, form, or fashion taking any action to rein in the judiciary. I think they will be thrilled for it to continue so long as it is stopping the agenda of the current administration.
So you think that Trump derangement syndrome will keep them from voting for constraints on the courts?
You think? Yeah, I absolutely think that.
All right, Jody Hice, thanks so much for joining us. Always great to see you.
Great to see you, Tony. Thanks.